Good evening and welcome to FC Cincinnati Weekly alongside Tom Galerder. I'm your host, Marshall Kramsky. Tommy FC, they added 3 more points to their total and are another step closer to the Supporters' Shield.
Right on the cusp now
Right
because
there.
of the help from the rest of the weekend as we were watching FC Cincinnati with a convincing win at home that felt great, didn't it? Felt good for everybody, but other games started falling their way. Then you had to wait on Orlando and Miami playing on Sunday night, and you're kind of torn between two ways, right? Do you want Miami to pick up points? Not really, because you don't want them in the playoffs. But you didn't want Orlando to win. I had seen some folks over there. I said, 1-1 draw would be perfect. Well, that's what you got, which now means with all the results falling the way they did and FC Cincinnati getting the win, all they need to do in Toronto is win, and the Supporters' Shield is ours. Let's go.
And with how Toronto's been playing, it's not out of the question to be looking at that win.
Nope.
And we'll talk more about that. After not capturing a win since August 26th, the Orange and Blue, they needed to come away with 3 points.
Yes, they did.
Because of their lackluster results in September thus far, FC Cincinnati came out and dominated from the start of the match until the end. It took almost the entire first half to get on the board, but then a little bit of magic happened right here.
Yep. So the free kick coming on the foul that is whistled just outside of the penalty area. And, of course, it's set up because Lucho's dancing away from a defender. Brant Veronico gets a piece of him. Alvaro Barrial says, buddy, this is my free kick. And he puts it in the upper 90 where nobody could get to it. The shirts were off. The celebrations were on. And FC Cincinnati had that little bit of momentum. Going into the locker room at half, you saw completely froze the goalkeeper. He didn't have a chance, was screaming and yelling at the referee. Nobody really knows why. It didn't matter. Veteran official wanted nothing to do with it. But that's what Alvaro Barrial does. We sit there at training and watch him take free kicks like that over and over and over again. So FC Cincinnati with the 1-0 lead, Kevin tells me they got to keep this rolling. They got to get a goal early in the second half. Well, the captain sets up Aaron Bupenza.
Bupenza, he was that midseason acquisition and really now coming into be a really big piece of this team, Tommy, right here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And that's what was meant to be. And everyone makes a big deal of the chemistry between Lucho and Bupenza. I don't see any chemistry issues right here. Lucho puts it right on his foot. Bupenza puts it where the defense cannot get to it. It's 2-0, and everything feels good. Okay, but Lucho seems to be determined. There's the 2-pull. He's locked in, the captain, building upon his MVP season. Obi kind of dinks the ball to him in midfield. No big deal. I'm going to cut inside. Whoop! Whoop! And here we go. Off to the races. And look, he has 2 guys wide open to his left. Is he going to pass it? Oh, no. Oh, no. Lucho on this night, fresh off his contract extension, needed a goal, and he beat half their defense. It was remarkable.
I can't believe, technically, Wobo gets the assist on that play.
Correct. From the opposing 18, right? Because he won the ball, tapped it off to him at midfield, and then Lucho does the rest. And there's no question that's the exclamation point. It's maybe the goal of the year. Go ahead and engrave the MVP trophy, and soon a Supporters' Shield for FC Cincinnati. But what an effort. If you listen to the Apple TV Spanish commentary, he was calling golazo before he was inside of the 18.
Oh, that's incredible.
It's remarkable. Go on my Twitter. You can find it there. But calling golazo before he even takes the shot, come on, man. But it was really cool.
Just how special was it that Lucho involved in all 3 goals about a day after signing that extension to say FC Cincinnati is my home and he's going to stay there? Just how cool
and
was that?
Pat Noonan was asked about that. Do you think he was playing more freely? Do you think he was playing more inspired? Look, Lucho plays inspired every night. And sometimes I think people misinterpret some of his body language when he's frustrated, that something's wrong or that he's upset with somebody. He's upset because the team's not scoring like 8 goals a night. And that's just how he's wired. That's okay. He wants the team to blow out their opponents every night. So if some passes aren't being connected, if goals aren't being scored, of course he's frustrated. But that's the kind of competitor he is. And he's going to be here in Cincinnati. That's awesome.
Just how important was it for this game to be a win, to get that much closer to the Supporters' Shield, especially with the last few weeks that FC Cincinnati's
it was funny. I was looking at the game notes before the match, and I noticed, hold on, this team hasn't won in September. Two losses.
All this team did was win.
2 draws when all you've done, and what, does that mean the team's in a slump? No, they're not in a slump, but sure, you got to get a win. You're at home, you're against a lesser opponent, and FC Cincinnati did exactly what they were supposed to do. And I think that's the key, right? They got that good feeling. I think it's a little bit of a relief. The other results fell in your favor. So if things don't go your way, then everything kind of tightens up a bit. and maybe everybody tightens up.
Sure.
But I think now the team, focused and knows what the goal is. It's pretty clear.
And the goal is another win. FC Cincinnati is headed to Toronto, who have lost 3 of their last 4 MLS games. They're at the bottom of the standings in the Eastern Conference. Let's take a look at our match preview brought to you by Tri-State GMC Buick. The Reds, they're coming off a 3-0 loss to New York City FC, and this is a team that FC Cincinnati should beat, Tommy.
Yeah, they beat them 3-0. If you remember that game in June at TQL Stadium when a lot of guys were missing. Alvis Powell and Ray Gaddis started at center back the last time they played Toronto, and FC Cincinnati won 3-0 in this match. The one you're seeing the highlights from right now, this was actually delayed because the water main going into Red Bull Arena, yes, you heard that right, New York City hosted the game, Red Bull Arena, that's another story for another day, but that match got delayed until Sunday, so they played Sunday afternoon in front of a very small crowd, and New York City ran them out of the building. So, you're right. Look, you can't count on anything in Major League Soccer to be easy, but Toronto is a team that has struggled all year long. They have loads of injuries right now. They didn't even dress 20 for this game against New York City. A lot of their mainstays are not available, so should FC Cincinnati roll to a victory? Yes, sure. On paper, absolutely. Sure. But they're going to have to go in, and if they play like they played this past Saturday, then there's no question you better make room on the plane because the supporter shield's coming back to the Queen City.
And we'll see what happens. There are some question marks that you can't look too much into the tape. Luca Gavrin, he made his MLS debut in goal for Toronto last week. Who's going to be in goal this week?
Yeah, they've had a lot of injuries at that position. Sean Johnson, of course, they brought in from New York City to be the guy. And then Greg Ranjitsingh has had an injury as well. So, I'm interested to see who they have back there. They have Tomas Romero on the roster as well, who has a bit of experience in the United States. So I'll be interested to see who they play. But again, if FC Cincinnati plays like they're capable of, and Pat Noonan has a major advantage right now because honestly, there's only been a handful of times at best this year where I think he's had his 20 best players available, and he does right now. And that's pretty awesome. And he's had a couple suspensions the last few weeks. That's been the only thing that kept them from having their best 20 available. Well, he has that for the home stretch. So that's a huge advantage for Pat. And if FC Cincinnati, again, goes into Toronto and they play like they're capable of, everything else will take care of itself.
The best ability is availability.
Yes.
On the topic of the Toronto game, the FC Cincinnati Foundation has teamed up with Pigworks to host the FCC3, which takes place tomorrow. This is a 3-mile run-walk followed by an FC watch party at the Banks. The watch party is free and includes food and beer vendors, a big screen display of the game, and eMLS interaction and more. Online registration is closed, but you can register tomorrow at Packet Pickup starting at 4 p.m. at the Banks on East Tedbury Way across from the Philson. The run walk starts at 6 with the watch party beginning at 7:30. This is a celebration you won't want to miss. You can catch Tommy and his partner Kevin McCloskey on the radio on ESPN 1530 doing the games or on iHeartRadio. So check them out Saturday if you're in your car and you want to follow along with the orange and blue. Tommy, you're the man. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
See you, Marshall.
Coming up next, did you know FC Cincinnati has a partner club in Europe? That's right, a partner across the pond. We'll explain after the break. Welcome back to FC Cincinnati Weekly. Soccer is an international game. FC Cincinnati fans are learning more and more about the aspects of the game as time passes. FC Cincinnati has a special relationship with a team in Germany, TSG Hoffenheim, sort of like a sister city. TSG is a companion club in the Bundesliga. Here's a closer look.
The partnership with Hoffenheim has been here for a few years. To be honest, it started in a difficult moment of everyone because it was during COVID. So I think the initial idea was to have a lot of idea exchange, have some of our staff members travel there, vice versa. Some of our players went there last offseason and trained. We've had several of their staff members here in Cincinnati a couple different times to observe. We've had some of their goalkeeping coaches here. We had one of their academy coaches here recently. Mostly we're focused on the soccer side, but there's many other conversations that have been involved from the commercial, business and community side as well. Hoffenheim kind of had a lot of alignment in terms of what they saw important to them as a club, which was, being present in the community, being green and sustainable, which is important, And they're not the biggest club in Germany, but they've done well to stay and compete in the Bundesliga, compete in Champions League. And so I think we as a club and where we are in Cincinnati, we kind of felt like it was a perfect fit.
My name is Lucas Tamaris. I'm from Germany. My former club is TSG Hoffenheim. I went to Hoffenheim when I was from U14 to U19. I went to the youth.
Lucas is the second player that we've brought. We brought one in the first year of that partnership to the first team on loan. But Lucas is a guy that came through Hoffenheim in their academy, had a lot of promise, had a few injuries kind of at the later stages of his academy career, and there wasn't a really clear path for him. So on the recommendation of Hoffenheim, we brought him over. He trialed here for probably a week or two. And it allowed also Lucas to see what we could offer him.
I just knew Cincinnati was in Ohio, but I didn't know that much about Cincinnati. I didn't know that Cincinnati was that hot.
He's now moved from Germany and he's here without his family for the first time. And so for a young kid, I think he's done well and he'll continue to grow.
My experience till now is very good. I like the city very much. The people are very nice. I got a good welcome from the club. They were very nice to me. They showed me everything. They introduced me to everybody, and they showed me the area, where I can go and what I can do. They have helped me off the pitch and on the pitch. That have made it easier to me to get into the team. What I'm looking most is to improve myself, help the team as much as I can, and to learn very much from the coaches.
We have a lot of success stories in just the 2 years. And what we say to every player that we bring in to FCC2 is, if you perform, you will have the opportunity to be seen.
To play in the stadium was amazing. That was my first time playing in a stadium like this. The fans were incredible. The pitch was beautiful, and it was just living the dream.
The respect for the league is growing, but they've expressed interest in our players. So, I think ideally one day an FC Cincinnati player is playing in Hoffenheim would be a great story. And I think to certainly bring a Hoffenheim player that really contributes to the first team would also be the ultimate success on the sporting side of it.
Coming up next, it's a dream come true. Lucho tells us all about how rewarding it is to play the game he loves for the fans he calls family, and city he calls home. But he remembers a time not long ago when nobody believed in him. After the break.
Edge of the D, Acosta gets it back! Oh, what a goal!
Welcome back to FC Cincinnati Weekly. Luciano Acosta loves playing for the Queen City and its fans. There's no doubt they love him too. But his past hasn't always been like that. The captain tells us his critics and their negativity have helped shape who he is today.
Wow, crecer jugando en Argentina fue algo muy difícil, donde muchos equipos no confiaban en mí, no tenían la esperanza en mí, pero fue siempre creer, siempre tener la fe y la confianza en mí mismo y seguir para adelante, que mi sueño se iba a cumplir. Sí, mucha gente no estaba con la confianza de que mi tamaño no era suficientemente para poder jugar. Muchas personas dijeron que no lo iba a lograr y hoy en día estoy aquí gracias a esas críticas, a esos malos comentarios. Hoy en día soy quien soy gracias a esos comentarios. Crear memorias en este estadio ha sido muy lindo, con mi familia, con mi esposa, con mis hijos. La verdad que ha sido muy lindo, muy gratificante. Me siento muy orgulloso cada vez que salgo y puedo festejar un gol. ellos acompañarme después de cada partido, entrar al estadio, son memorias que van a quedar para siempre en mí y en ellos también. Esta ciudad para mí es muchísimo, muchísimo amor. Esta ciudad para mí es una familia, este club para mí es una familia, los fans para mí son una familia y la verdad que estoy muy feliz de crear memorias y seguir creando memorias para este club. Siempre soñé momentos como este, la verdad que toda mi vida he soñado desde muy chico tener la posibilidad de estar en un gran club, con una gran familia y hoy es así como me siento y la verdad que, como dije, siempre soñé con estar aquí. Se siente muy feliz, uno se siente, como tú dices, en casa y cuando uno se siente en casa es muy lindo porque se siente arropado, se siente que todo va a salir bien y tiene esa felicidad por dentro, ese corazón que se llena de estar en el lugar donde uno siempre quiso estar. Este club es muy especial por eso que mencioné, que es mi familia, porque cada vez que salgo al campo de juego doy mi vida por esta ciudad, por estos fans, por estos colores, por este club. Y es eso que lo vuelve tan especial para mí, porque la verdad que son mi familia. Oh. Todos, creo que todos los momentos que viví aquí son muy especiales, muy lindos, algo que no puedo elegir uno solo, y si tendría que elegir uno sería el primer gol que he celebrado con mi familia. Cuando llegué aquí tomé la responsabilidad de ser capitán, agradecerle a Sam que me dio esa posibilidad y la verdad que fue un challenge muy, muy, muy grande para mí, nunca había tenido esa responsabilidad y hoy en día creo que he crecido mucho siendo capitán y me siento muy orgulloso de ser el capitán de este equipo, de este club, de mis compañeros. La verdad que estoy muy feliz y muy agradecidos a todos ellos por tener que aguantarse un capitán difícil como yo, pero nada, la verdad que me siento muy feliz y muy orgulloso de representar como capitán a este club y a esta ciudad. Solo tengo palabras de agradecimiento a los fans, a todas esas personas que están ahí gritando Lucho Acosta. La verdad que solo me queda decirle gracias y cada partido que salgo, como dije, salgo por ustedes y para jugar para ustedes y representarlo a ustedes dentro del campo. Espero en un futuro que sigamos mucho más tiempo juntos. Espero en un futuro ganar muchas cosas con este equipo, con esta ciudad y darle la alegría que los fans nos dan todo el tiempo a nosotros, todos los fines de semana, todos los días, ese cariño de devolvérselo con un título.
Over the next few weeks, we are going to take a look back at some of the best saves the goalies have made this season. Let's take a look at this week's All-State Save of the Match.
Far side, Pellegrini across the box. Celentano, a highlight reel save. Keaton Parks found the header, and Celentano swiped it up into the Bailey.
Welcome back to FC Cincinnati Weekly. The team is on the road tomorrow, but will return to the Fortress Wednesday, October 4th, to take on the New York Red Bulls, a team they beat back in July. They need a packed house, FC Cincinnati. So go to fccincinnati.com to get your tickets today. To kick off Major League Soccer's league-wide 10th annual Kick Childhood Cancer campaign to raise awareness and funds for pediatric cancer research and treatment, Marley performed the sword ritual earlier this month. Don't forget to use the hashtag #KickChildhoodCancer so a donation can be made.
Hi, I'm Marley. I'm here to do the sword ritual for FC Cincinnati. I've been an FC Cincinnati fan since I was 2. It's a big honor to be the first kid to do the sword ritual. My favorite FCC player is Nick Kaplan because he's the best.
That's our show for this week. Thanks for watching. Join us here every Friday at 7:30 for FC Cincinnati Weekly, the most comprehensive coverage of FC Cincinnati you'll find anywhere. For Tom Gallardo and the rest of our FC Cincinnati Weekly crew, have a great evening and go FCC.
Got 'em running. They never see me coming.